I will stand by the fact that book shopping and reading books are two different hobbies. So I broke my book ban. I had 20 books on my TBR list, and so of course I thought buying 20 more books would be the best solution to tackle that TBR list and to obviously not break my book ban. I have a big haul here, a lot of second-hand books, a few ARCs, a few new releases, and I just wanted to show you all so I can justify my book spending purchases and so I don't feel bad. I mean, the book ban lasted 4 months, so let's just get into it. First up, let's start off with the Kindle trophies. Now, I have been reading a lot on my Kindle, and I think it's because I read faster and I feel like less guilty for not tackling my physical TBR, so I'm like, my Kindle doesn't really count. I've been reading a lot of romance books on my Kindle, but I'm normally like a young adult, fantasy, thriller sort of girl, and I've just been having such a fun time reading romance books on my Kindle. So I was like, I need to buy some of my favourite books that I've read to have as Kindle trophies. So first up we have a bit of a haul from The Works. This is my The Works order and they did have a few good deals on, so I had to narrow down my choices because they have so many good romance books out there in The Works, but this is what I chose. This is the first series I bought. It's a Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver, and oh my god, have I been converted into being a cowboy romance girly, because these books were so addictive, they were so good. I've even reread them already on my Kindle, and I was like, I need to have the physical copies of them. I actually low-key want to reread them again so I can like annotate them. I'm not sure if this is in order, but I bought Flawless, Heartless, Powerless, Reckless, and Hopeless, and this was like £13 for like all 5, which I think is pretty decent for like 5 books. That was like really cheap. And basically, if you haven't heard of Elsie Silver or the Chestnut Spring series, it follows this family in this very small town. If you watch the show Ransom Canyon on Netflix, then I feel like that's very Elsie Silver coded. So if you watch that show but you've not read these books, I'd highly recommend. I think they're so worth the hype. Favourite ones from the series is probably Heartless and Reckless, because the tropes in this are so good. The first one is about this guy who's like a bull rider and his like image has gone down and he needs someone to help clean up his image, and he basically has like a PR girl following him to keep his image in check, but of course they fall in love. And the second one is Rhett's brother called Cade, and he's like a single dad, very grumpy, very like stick to myself, and he needs a nanny, and basically we have a nanny single dad romance, but oh my god, the tension, it just hits so good in that book. And the third one is about the family friend. He's like an ice hockey player, and it's a romance between him and this girl called Sloane who like have a bit of a past, and she's a ballerina, and that's just like also very wholesome. The fourth one follows another character from this series. They're not part of the family, but you know them very well, and it has a surprise pregnancy trope, but it was just like done really well, and I normally don't like that trope, but I really enjoyed it. And the last one, Cade and Rhett's brother, and this girl who works at this bar, and it's like an age gap romance. But honestly, there's like so many good tropes in this, and I don't normally like to like tropify like my books when I recommend them, but I love the series so much and I'd highly recommend them if you haven't read them already. The next romance books I got from The Works were these two, and that's Next of Kin by Hannah Burnham Young and First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. Now, oh my god, like Hannah Burnham Young, first of all, let's start off with her. She writes the most wholesome, cozy books ever, and I feel like she does romance books so well. She discusses deep themes, and there's also like great representation. Next of Kin, the main girl Chloe has learned that her birth mother has like unexpectedly given birth to a baby, and she doesn't want her mother to have ownership over this baby, so she wants to be her little sister's like guardian. She has to meet social services financial evaluation, and she fails to meet that, so she needs a place to stay, and she ends up staying with a guy called Warren, who's also trying to get custody of his brother who's 15. So they like live in the same place, and it's just so beautiful the way the relationship developed, because they're so young, but then they're trying everything they can to like protect their family, and also like the way Warren is like the little sister, it's just so cute. First book I read by Hannah Burnham Young, and it introduced me to like her other books that I absolutely adore. So if you're looking for a romance book that represents marginalised people in such a beautiful way that's swoon-worthy, and it has just like the most beautiful themes, then I'd highly recommend this book. And then First Time Caller, I feel like this has been all over my bookstagram, my booktok feed, and it was hyped up, and I wasn't sure about this because I have read B.K. Borison's other books and I wasn't like 100% in love with them, but this is like a 5-star read for me. It is so original, so funny, and I just have to own the physical copy. I'm kind of sad because the works had a really cute like sprayed edges edition, and I ordered this online, so they just gave me like the normal one, which is fine, but my heart breaks a little bit. And next two Kindle buys were from World of Books, and these books were available from the works, but it was actually cheaper to get from World of Books. As a broke book girly, I will do everything and anything I can to make sure that I can get really cheap books, because let's be honest, they're expensive, and as much as I absolutely adore reading, I will stand by the fact that book shopping and reading books are two different hobbies. Anyway, this one I got was Spiral, and I really love this book, mainly because the author is South Asian, and you rarely ever see like South Asian authors be hyped up on Bookstagram and BookTok, and I really adore this book. I think I rated it 4 stars, and I absolutely love sports romances, and especially I love it when it's like they're both athletes. So in this book, Elias is an ice hockey player and Sage is a ballerina, and it's just like really cute and wholesome. It addresses deep themes as well, and I really like this book. It's actually the second in the series that Belle Crabber has written, and I only own this one, so I definitely need to like maybe break my book ban even more and buy the first one. And for a second edition book, the only thing you can tell is that it's got cracked spine, which I don't really mind, and it's like slightly bent, but honestly, like if you want a cheap book and you're buying secondhand, World of Books is your girl, honestly. And then the next one I bought was Out on a Limb, because speaking of Hannah Burnham Young, I think this is like my favourite book of hers that I've read, and it is just so wholesome, and I have never ever liked the whole pregnancy trope in books. I just found it so cringe, and it really reminds me of Bella from Twilight, and nobody wants to be taken back to that era of Twilight and babies just popping out of nowhere. But anyway, I digress. Out on a Limb is a really sweet book, but the main girl, Winifred, has a limb difference. Her life on her own, she's very independent, and she hooks up with this guy called Bo, and he's got a disability as well. And it's just supposed to be a one-night stand. And if you want to read about a healthy relationship that will make you believe in men again, Out on a Limb, I'd highly recommend. Continuing on with the romance theme, I also bought 2 books from World of Books that are romance books, and then I also have 2 arcs, which I'm so excited to share with you guys. Before I Let Go and This Could Be Us. Now, I absolutely adore Kennedy Ryan. I love her Hoop series. I also loved her book Real, and I've seen these been promoted a lot on my socials, and I was like, I can't believe I haven't read these books, considering Kennedy Ryan is low-key like an author by author for me, and I adore her books so much because I never cry while reading books, but Kennedy Ryan, yeah, that lonely tear will be slowly dripping down my face, because she writes emotional, gripping, and swoon-worthy romances, and they always discuss deep themes, and I'm just really excited to read this one. Part of the series, and I think it's like interconnected series, and I absolutely love when books do that. So yeah, I'm excited to read these. I'll definitely be doing reviews on these on my social platforms, and if you've read these, I'd love to know what you think. On to the arcs. So the first one is The First Time for Everything. I was so excited when Source Books reached out to send me this book, because honestly, I am in need of a cutesy summer young adult book, and if I can't have the season 3 of The Summer I Turned Pretty yet, then I'm going to need to find Conrad in any shape or form, including other fiction books. And honestly, I absolutely love messy drama wedding romance books, and this just sounds so good. I normally don't like love triangles, but I feel like this is just going to eat up. The book releases on June 3rd, 2025, and I'm definitely going to be reading this very, very soon, and I'll let you all know my thoughts, of course. The next book I got sent was from Little Brown Books. I absolutely love the first one, When I Think of You, by the same author, Maya Ariel, so I was really excited to receive this one. A Scandal, a Spark, and a Second Chance. This is one partnership they can't fake. Ella Simone's pop star life is what dreams are made of. Okay, Lizzie McGuire who? Honestly, I love a fake dating sort of PR relationship book, because when the lines get blurred, that's when it just hits so good. I think this book is going to be released very soon, so I'll put the date on screen right now if you want to pre-order, which I'd highly recommend you do, because this book sounds so good already. Next we are going back to OG Maddie's reading roots, and that is fantasy, because I am a fantasy girl through and through. So I tried to satisfyingly open this, but it failed anyway. So the first book I got is the sequel to The Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. I really love Cassandra Clare's writing because I feel like she really immerses you into her world, and I'm really excited to see what she does in this new world that isn't the Shadowhunters. And guys, I literally bought this on Waldo Books for £17, which for a hardback might still be expensive, but this was like, I don't know why this book has been like so expensive everywhere. It's like £22, £25. It's like I don't have that sort of money to drop, not just yet, but I really wanted to get this in a hardback because I have the first one in a hardback. The second book is called The Rag Picker King, and basically in the story, if you love like royalty, hidden identities, secrets, and walking the thin line between love and lies, then I'd recommend the series so far. I've heard the second one is even better than the first one, so I'm like so excited to read this one. The next few books I bought were books from series that I just haven't finished, because I have this really bad habit where I'll either read the series as it's being released and completely forget when the sequel's been released and I just like haven't pre-ordered it, or I'll start the series with a paperback, and even though like I don't want to buy the next ones yet because I'm too broke, I can't physically read it on my Kindle, which is the cheaper option, because I've already started the series as a paperback, as a physical book. Does that make sense? Am I the only one who has to like finish the series in the same format they read it in? I don't know. I bought the next two books in the An Ember in the Ashes Quartet series by Saba Tahir. First book was so good. I annotated the crap out of the book. It's got like such good subplot romance. It really discusses like really interesting themes. It's like a political YA fantasy, and I just never picked up the next two books because it kind of put me in a slump, but I know that the rest will be good. There is actually 4 books, but I couldn't find the 4th one on all the books, which is quite heartbreaking. But hopefully I won't actually wait 2 more years to actually buy the next book. If you love like a forbidden romance that where the two classes can't actually be together, then I highly recommend this series. I've only read the first one, but I just know this is going to be one of my favourite YA fantasy series, maybe of all time. Maybe, is that a bold claim? Who knows? And then the next book I bought, which was to finish my series that I'm in the middle of, is Our Violet Ends. These Violet Lies came out in 2020, right? It's been 5 years. I still haven't read the sequel. I finally have the second book, and I really love the first one. It's like a retelling of Romeo and Juliet in 1920 Shanghai, and it's like a YA fantasies, and it does enemies to lovers so well. Like they genuinely hate each other, and that's what I like to read about. I want to read about each other like knife to the throat. I want to kill you, but at the same time, I actually love you. So I'm really excited to read the second one of this book because Chloe Gong is actually such a great writer. And if you haven't added it to your TBR list, maybe now is the time. And then finally, for books in a series that I haven't finished yet, is Bloodmarked. I read Legendborn as it was released, absolutely loved it because I'm a Merlin stan. And if you know, the BBC series, still in my heart. And if you haven't heard of Legendborn, it's kind of like a YA fantasy that's inspired by the King Arthur legendary story. And it is set in like the real world, but it's got like fantasy elements, and I just think it's so cool. The romance and the banter hits different, and it's really got great plot twists. I'm so excited to read the second one. And the last fantasy book I got was The Stardust Thief. Now, I've actually heard the second book has just been released now, and this is like a Middle Eastern, I want to say, or Arabian-inspired fantasy. It sounded really interesting, and I want to kind of diversify the sort of fantasy books I'm reading. Very excited to read. I mean, and the cover is stunning. What a gorgeous babe.
Who is that fine babe?
And then finally, I forgot I had this on the side. I was honoured to receive this book from Penguin Random House, and I've been wanting to get into more Palestinian fiction and non-fiction, and I just think it's so important now more than ever to read their stories. This book is called We Are Not Numbers. I believe this is going to be released on June time. I'll put the publishing date on screen right now. But if you haven't heard of this book, I'd recommend having it on your radar because it's such a powerful and such an insightful read.
A few moments later.
It's literally taller than your own head. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this haul. I was so excited to show you all. I'm so excited to read these books. I'm so excited to let you all know my thoughts on them. If you read any of these books, please let me know your thoughts on them. And please drop like a flower emoji if you made it this far. Because my god, this book stack has put me through the trenches because it is so heavy. Honestly, breaking this book down was 100% worth it because this book haul was so satisfying to film and so satisfying to show you all. Thank you all for watching my video. If you absolutely love cozy, chaotic, bookish vibes, then I am your girl, and please subscribe for more bookish goodness from Miss Maddie Chats. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!